It's not just electric, it's a Mercedes. Mercedes EQ, where luxury is reimagined for a sustainable world, where iconic design satisfies your desire for better, where reducing emissions is exciting. And now Mercedes introduce a new dimension to the EQ range, the all-electric EQB, offering 7 seats as standard. The sustainability of all-electric, the luxury of a Mercedes. Discover the all-new all-electric EQB at MSL Ballsbridge Motors.
Hey guys, this is Ben.
And I'm Karen.
All you do is read about crime.
If you have serial killer posters in your bedroom.
If you're hiding newspaper article clippings under your bed, looking at you, Karen.
Don't be concerned. We share your compulsion.
Join us, Ben and Karen, husband and wife team, as we delve deeper into the mind of serial killers.
Dive into the darker side of humanity, but from the safety of your own couch. You can find our website,
crimeandcompulsion.com.
Find us on Facebook,
Crime and Compulsion.
Find us on Instagram,
Crime and Compulsion Podcast.
Find us on Twitter,
at Crime Compulsion. Find our episodes wherever you get your favorite podcast streaming from.
Seriously Sinister discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or it could be easy listening to all of you psychopaths out there.
Names and places have been changed to protect the hosts legally.
Listener discretion is not advised. Seriously Sinister.
Welcome to Seriously Sinister, a boomer's introduction to technology. This is Trevin.
And this is Amanda. Your intros get me every time.
Oh, they're fun to make.
And very true. I actually had an aunt tell me that she's getting into podcasts now. So she's never used this kind of technology at all. So, hey, there you go.
Yeah, it was inspired by that too. Like just family, that has not, what is a podcast?
Yeah.
You know?
What is life? Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have any dreadful dilemmas this week, Trevin?
I do have a dreadful dilemma. So I guess I kind of lied to you in our first episode when we had our issue with the car alarm going off.
Oh.
I guess I didn't fully lie. I said that we are not a car alarm neighborhood.
Oh,
And
no.
We are not a car alarm neighborhood still. I will stand firmly behind that.
Uh-huh. So you say.
However, we do happen to be a dumbass ATV neighborhood. And it is just getting to a point where I can't handle it anymore. It's driving me nuts. There's this guy, he lives up the street, and he just always has to be obnoxious. I live on a small street. I'm nowhere near the country, nowhere near a place to really go riding. And this guy, and it's almost every night after work, he comes home, and it's him, and I think there's 2 of them, and sometimes he'll ride a dirt bike, and he just speeds down my street and then turns around and speeds back up my street. I don't even have a big street for riding on because people are parking on both sides of the street. It's a very thin road. So you're not even having fun, dude. Why are you doing this? If you bought a 4-wheeler or a dirt bike, you obviously know how to have the optimum amount of fun with this thing. So why are you having this parade of obnoxiousness every weeknight, just riding back and forth? It doesn't make any sense.
Wow. So he doesn't even go around to like another place. It's just back and forth on your road?
Generally back and forth. I mean, he might do this other side street here, but what fun is it? I'm off work. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to go run a 4-wheeler up and down the same street for about 3 hours. Like, what fun is that for you at all?
My God. Your street is not a good or even safe place for him to be doing that.
No, we have so many kids walking around most of the time.
This is not an ATV neighborhood. I'll stand firmly in that with you.
It should not be.
I object.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, does he like writing that much, or does he just get off on letting people know that he's there?
I don't know. We've had a couple people ride ATVs in our neighborhood too, which is still kind of weird. I feel like your neighborhood's weirder because of the parking on the both sides of the street, though. That just seems super dumb. But yeah, wow, that's a dilemma, bro.
Yeah, he's definitely he's probably the kind of person that backs into parking spots.
The reason this is cracking me up so much, and it actually kind of ties into my dreadful dilemma for the week.
Oh, transition.
Is that this kind of, this guy. Now, okay, my husband, Jordan, is not as obnoxious as that, okay? But we are looking for a new house. We're trying to update our house and find another one. He wants to find land where he can get an ATV and drive it, and he does back up into parking spaces sometimes. So that was really funny to me. My dreadful dilemma is, though, that we are having a very hard time finding a new house because of this issue. I've lived that country life. Jordan has not. So we're trying to find, he wants acreage, but I don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere. I want to be close to the city still. So it's just a really weird. There have been some we found, but they're either super overly priced, or the one we just looked at today had an acre. It was close to the city, but it was right next to a super busy road. And so, it's like, damn, this house market is wild right now. Which you're still looking for a new house, right?
Yeah, we just met with a realtor for the first time last week. Yeah, she definitely didn't let us get our hopes up, but she said like 200 houses just hit the market or some weird.
It's about to be popping.
Yeah.
Springtime is coming, or it already has come, I guess. But there will be more houses. It's just, and you guys aren't going to be as weirdly picky as he is with houses.
No, definitely not.
His is like, it's got to be a ranch style. It's got to have this much. It's got to be secluded. It's got to be in a good school district. Where you guys are probably just like, I just want a house that I own.
Yeah, I want more than one bathroom and space and a large deck.
This house only has one bathroom?
Yep.
Oh my God. I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's kind of a drag.
Yeah, that would be that should just be your dreadful dilemma every single week.
It kind of is.
Oh my God.
And I also just want a bigger house in general.
Yeah.
It is kind of annoying when you want to work, when I want to do like recording in the studio or something. And yeah, it's great I have my own room dedicated to it, but at the same time, I can still hear the TV from there. And
yeah. You need like some multiple levels or just more rooms or something then.
Yeah, and if I had my own house, I would probably do something drastic to soundproof that room a little bit better too.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah, there's so many weird things you can do with that now. Okay, well, so this week we are going to be going back to our original roots and doing some trivial true crime trivia. Whoa, Trevin. We do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
So I can go ahead and go first.
Okay.
I'll ask you. I was kind of motivated to do this one just because the past few weeks you've kind of been talking about your man struggles and how neither one of us really know cars very well.
Oh, great. Don't ask me car questions.
Okay.
I forfeit.
So my trivia question for you this week. What is the most commonly stolen vehicle? Is it A, a Toyota Camry, B, a Honda Civic, or C, a Ford pickup?
Ooh, I can think of so many reasons for all three of those.
Well, I will tell you this. They are the top 3 stolen.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. I'm thinking.
What are your reasons, though? I'm curious.
Okay, so the pickup, I think of any movie where there's like a serial killer or something, or somebody is trying to get away from somebody in the country, so they just steal a truck. Honda Civic, because they can be turned into like race cars, and kind of it's a very popular car in the first Fast and the Furious movie. And then you said the Toyota.
Yeah.
Those are just reliable vehicles. And
Shoot.
I mean, they're pretty basic. Emily and her family all drive Toyotas, and those cars last a really long time.
Well, so what do you think it is?
Okay, so either A, I'm going to be going for something somebody steals something and they're thinking for the long term, I'm going to say no, they're probably not thinking for the long term.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking people who love Fast and the Furious and want to go with the glamorous side's got Civic, or am I thinking of somebody who's strapped for time and just need to steal a truck right now? I'm going to say that people more often are pre-planning this a little bit better and they want to steal Civics.
Woohoo! So that is false. But to give you credit,
I made it sound good.
No, Honda Civics were the most commonly stolen cars for years and years. But recently, the Ford pickup has topped the charts on that.
Interesting.
I read a lot of articles about it, actually, to make sure that that was indeed a fact, that was true. And a lot of the older lists did say Honda Civic, but all the new ones said Ford pickup.
Wow. That's a gift and a curse. Like, oh, I broke the rules and I stole this truck, but now everybody's going to ask me to help move them.
Yeah. I mean, karma's a bitch. You have to move everyone
At that point,
now.
I would turn myself in. Like, take me. Take me. I'll never have a free Saturday again.
Everyone's going to want to go to the drive-in with you. Everyone's going to want you to move them.
You'll just be paid in pizza and beer.
Actually, doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay, do you have one for me?
I definitely do. This is not so much crime, but just gross macabre type stuff.
Okay.
The ancient Romans used crushed up mouse brains as what? A, lubricant.
My God.
B, toothpaste. Or C, shampoo.
Wow. All options are very disgusting, but I mean, no shade to all the ancient Egyptians listening.
Yeah, or anybody who just loves, crushed mouse brains and all their multiple uses.
To each their own. No judgment here. I'm gonna have to go with the least gross option, which to me personally, I would much rather have the brains in my hair instead of my mouth or in other sensitive areas. So I'm going to go with C, shampoo.
And you are a loser too.
Oh, God. Which one is it?
Toothpaste.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I will give you a little excerpt here. So raw brains, it happens, are mildly abrasive. They can actually be used as a metal polish, for example. Structurally, they are also a soft, spreadable paste-like material. Mouse brains would be readily available, there are always mice around, cheap, and actually effective at cleaning your teeth.
Okay, because I was going to say, couldn't then virtually any brain be made into a paste?
Yeah, I believe so.
But because the mice are always around...
Yeah.
And they're cheap. And clearly, people don't care about mice as much as they do little puppies, as told in my last story.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So they just would they murder the mouse before, or would they wait till it naturally and peacefully passed away and then just take... Like, was it a toothpaste organ donor, or did they just murder them because they had some cavities?
I don't know. I bet they probably had some really inhumane trap and just, I don't even know, had a huge basket of them and just mash.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they said they mashed it into a powder too, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought just the smushy old brain would work, but...
Wow, yeah, they can't just take the brain directly out on their teeth. They have to, okay, damn. Wow, that was a fascinating fact there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn to tell my story first, which I kind of gave a teaser last week that I'm going to be reading, I'm going to be reimagining and creating a story from a listener's true story, and kind of making it my own, and they gave me full reins. It's really cool. I was able to get the majority of the basic story that happened, and then I asked a bunch of follow-up questions just to get the details right. So for any of our listeners, we would love to tell your stories. If you'd like to give us that creative energy to take it on, we would love it.
It's super fun to have our first one. So this is one for the record. Yeah, like I said before, we can sinisterify your song or your I'm sorry, working in music too long. We can sinisterify your story. You can write it yourself completely and we'll just read it, or we could just talk about your story without actually telling it in story form, or just give us an article. We just love the stuff. Anything bizarre and petty.
Anything, just petty it up. And I mean, we can either give you a shout out, your name, or it can be anonymous. This story is an anonymous one for one of our listeners. And of course, I'm changing all the names and things like that. But I'm really excited to do one of these.
Me too.
So let's get into this. It was a warm summertime evening as 13-year-old Jared rode his bicycle down a large hill. Saying that he loved riding his bike was an understatement. Jared built his bike with love and care, using all of his hard-earned paper route money. He painted it jet black with pearly white rims to stand out. Pedaling down the small town roads was one place that brought Jared peace, as the rest of his summer was filled with chores from strict parents. But for now, he breathed in the summer breeze as he thought about the next bike part he would buy. He eventually arrived home and hid his bike in a bush next to his house to keep it safe for the night. The next morning, he woke up early and headed out to start his paper route. As he turned the corner to the side of his house, he realized that his beloved bicycle was gone. As tears welled up in his eyes, he angrily grabbed his papers and begrudgingly walked to all 150 houses. With each step he took, he became more and more frustrated. Who even reads the papers anymore, he thought. He chucked Myrna's paper into her bush, launched Bill and Nancy's paper into their pool, and then accidentally catapulted his last paper into Billie Jean's small poodle. "Sorry, princess," he said. 2 weeks later, Jared was rolling papers on his front porch for his paper route. His parents were also sitting on the porch due to the AC being broken inside. As his hands were becoming raw from rolling each paper, he looked up to see a man riding a black bike with white rims. Jared's dad boasted out, "Is that your bike?" Jared debated between whether or not he wanted his bike back or if he should save the thief's life from his drunk father. Jared finally said, "I think so," and immediately his dad stood up. Jared's dad was a tall and intimidating man. And on this day, he was barefoot, wearing jean shorts and nothing else. His hairy chest covered up a decent portion of his tatted up body. "Let's go get it," his dad said coolly. Jared and his dad sped up and down the streets in the direction the thief had gone. They rode in their pickup truck, zigzagging aggressively through neighborhoods, when they finally spotted the black bike abandoned in a home's front yard. They pulled the truck over and left the engine running as they both jumped out of the truck. His dad looked at Jared with serious eyes. "Jared, is this your bike? Because what I'm about to do, I need to know for sure." The beer on his dad's breath was extremely noticeable in the summer heat. Jared scoured the bike up and down to make sure that it was in fact his. He didn't want to be the reason for an innocent man to get his ass whooped. "Yeah, Dad," he said. "It's my bike." Jared's dad said, "Get on your bike and ride it home." Jared did as he was told and panted in exhilaration and fear. As he rode back home, he looked over his shoulder to see his half-naked father charging up the steps of the bicycle thief, as many profanities echoed down the road. As Jared's dad approached the home, the thief's roommate had noticed his hostile presence and dove off the side of the front porch. Inside, Jared's dad found the thief and proceeded to chase him around and around and around his home, yelling, "Never steal from my property again!" He eventually tired out from this roundabout chase and left with a couple more threats. Jared's mom had called the police about the stolen bike, but once the police arrived and got the full story, they quickly realized that Jared's dad could be the one with charges for breaking and entering. So no charges were pressed from either side. and Jared enjoyed his bicycle even more the rest of that summer.
Wow. I mean, desperate times cause for desperate measures.
Yeah, I know he was barefoot, and it probably wasn't the pitch perfect time, but I mean, the man's AC is broken, okay? And you see this guy with your son's bike, what are you to do?
Yeah, and when an ass needs kicked, you don't really have time to doll yourself up for the occasion.
Or put on shoes, even, for that matter.
Wow. When you got to spring into action, you got to do what you got to do.
And I know firsthand that this listener, that bike meant the world to him. So it was a pretty crazy moment for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's also his livelihood. If that was his job.
It's his paper route. Like, come on. Did you ever have a paper route?
Oh, no, I lived in the country. We had our paper delivery person was an old truck that drove by and just threw them out.
Oh, yeah.
I also didn't get my driver's license until kind of late because I was the youngest of my friend group. So all my friends got their driver's license first. And I thought, what's the rush?
Oh.
I just ride with people all the time.
See, I got my driver's license when I was 14, but we did not have a paper route either. I mean, I don't know who left the papers. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I guess
paper
it's
ferry.
A common thing. And yeah, the paper ferry. But shout out to that listener. I mean, that was really fun to make it my own. And I will say, I don't know if any dogs were injured in the paper throwing, because that part was a little additive. So I'm sure it was fine.
Well, it's a good thing you cleared that up.
That might have been an exaggeration on my part. Oh, man. All right. Are you ready to scare me now?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So my story is another from the news.
Okay.
I am taking this from a true event that I found in the news, and I just thought it was too perfect.
Oh, let's hear it.
And disturbing.
Oh, God. Okay.
So not for the faint of heart. All right. Welcome to the American workplace, a capitalist creation invented to feed the corporate machine. Everyone's main goal is to focus on the bottom line, while their brains slowly fry under fluorescent lights. This place has claimed the lives of more souls than any modern-day serial killer. So it would come as no surprise to find out that this is the setting of many immoral acts. When you're forced to give a majority of your time to a company to maintain a certain lifestyle, it can be completely natural to have a sense of resistance. From the wide variety of characters that keep a company running, it is expected to have some clashes. Whether it be pranksters who take it too far, or hot-headed coworkers who can't seem to get along, we have built a culture that keeps an HR department busy. So what happens when your job's main export is cold, hard justice? We would assume that a police station would be in a much higher order and not susceptible to the same office shenanigans that we all have been victim to. Unfortunately for those involved, the higher stakes only translated to higher destruction, leading to one of the pettiest crimes in history. In 2012, the Deer Park police station was consumed by an evil entity. The staff was disoriented, tired, and struggling to enforce the law of their fair city. It seemed there was no escaping the possession, and that eventually everyone would be under its spell. The first sign of possession was a grumbly tummy. Once you felt the pangs of hunger, that's when you knew it was too late. At first, the workers shrugged it off as an honest mistake. Maybe someone packed a lunch that looked similar to theirs and accidentally grabbed it from the communal fridge. They would simply take it as a sign that their diet could wait another day and go order a sloppy burger from the local fast food restaurant. But as it continued to happen, the lunchtime funds would start to run dry and they would go hungry. What used to be a smorgasbord of leftovers from Tim's wife had now become an old desk granola bar and a diet soda from the vending machine. This was not optimum fuel for enforcing the law. Over a period of time, everyone started to notice that they shared the same side effects. This once vibrant precinct had become a dark corridor for the walking dead. After almost a year of this, people started talking. Sandwiches, birthday cakes, and even 60 pounds of deer sausage had been stolen from the police fridge during this time. With all of their Karen powers combined, they typed an office email the likes of which had never been seen. With equal parts fake kindness and intimidation, the ultimate email had been constructed and sent out for the perpetrator's eyes. There was no way that this could fail, as the directive was so understanding but threatening. But as the next day's lunch hour began, another worker slowly opened the refrigerator door to find that their wife's famous meatloaf had disappeared. Who could this felonious forager be? And how could they have not been dissuaded by this foolproof email? Surely this person felt that they were above the law. That's when the thought crept into their heads. What if this person was the law? This called for an escalation of power. The Secret Food Theft Committee decided to go to the chief of police for help. After much preparation, they decided to use every trick that the police had at their disposal. It was time for the largest sting operation that the Deer Park Police Station had ever performed. This had to be done completely in secret, as they were hunting one of their own. Anyone with their extensive police training would be able to sniff out a trap from a mile away, so they had to think outside the box. All of their planning led to the perfect plan: putting a camera in front of the fridge. With specifically labeled food and drinks in the fridge, along with this camera, the trap was set. For 3 weeks, they ran surveillance on the fridge, but they only needed a couple of days to catch the thief. In that time, Officer Kevin Yang was caught stealing multiple Monster energy drinks along with a Subway sandwich. All of these items were labeled with initials that did not match his. Once enough evidence was gathered to convict him, it was time to make their arrest.
You're coming with me, hungry man.
Kevin Yang was brought in with charges of misdemeanor theft. Yang's defense was that he was helping clean out the refrigerator, but the chief saw straight through his fabrication. Chief Griggs told KTRK News, "When you're not putting anything in and you're taking things out, it became clear to us he was taking things knowingly and against the law." Yang served a 30-day unpaid suspension while being cited with a Class C misdemeanor theft. Eventually, the charges were dismissed in court. The story of Kevin Yang and the lunchtime thefts has our nation's belief in the law shaken. If a police precinct can struggle with the same petty office crimes that we all face, how can we trust that we are in good hands? It seems that our feelings of safety within a police presence are simply just an illusion, and that the sense of dread that I feel every day is completely validated. And what is this to say about the police's sense of action? When someone is stealing sandwiches from the police, they do not hesitate to exhaust every measure to bring that person to justice. But when I have an annoying neighbor riding a dirt bike up and down my small city street, interrupting my recording, they don't have time for it. I guess the law is relative, and we should all never lose that sense of fear that keeps us feeling alive and scared every night when we go to bed.
How low can it get to steal someone's lunch from the shared refrigerator?
We've all been there, but to be a repeat offender.
Oh, and to have the courage that he had to do it to his fellow officers.
Mm-hmm.
The gall.
I just can't imagine it. When I first started working where I work, I had a lunch box that I had brought with me and just left it in the fridge, and our cleaning lady actually just threw the whole lunch box away.
Oh.
It was in my first week working there, and I was so mad. And it's not that it was a nice lunch box, but it was the only one I had.
It still didn't need to be thrown in the trash.
Yeah, whose first thought is that? And there was still like food in it, or actually it was just a protein bar, but still like there was obviously something in it. So why is that your first ideas.
Wow.
This was really bringing back the memories of that, and it was obvious. It was very hard to write.
Oh, God, I'm sure. You know, the only thing that I am okay with somebody using is if you bring condiments in, like ranch, ketchup, you're just asking for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Or creamer.
Yes, or creamer. Oh, God. But, you know, I live that way. If I bring in some ranch, sure, you can have some.
Mm-hmm.
But if I bring in a full lunch, that man had a full meatloaf in there.
Yeah.
Gone.
Or the 60 pounds of deer sausage, which I will say is not a fabricated part of the story. There was actually 60 pounds of deer sausage stolen from that fridge.
What was he doing with all this food?
I don't
Feeding
know.
his whole family?
And I saw a picture of the guy. He's not large. I mean, he doesn't look like he ate 60 pounds of deer sausage.
Oh my. You'd be able to tell, I feel like.
I would
the picture.
Like, I imagine, like, somebody, if they would have watched him carefully, the deer sausage goes missing, and then the next day he's just like, oh, God, hey, nothing weird here. It's like, dude, you look like you just ate 60 pounds of deer sausage. Are you okay?
So you're the one who caused my grumbly tumbly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I also find it hysterical that they took such action and suspended him for 30 days when we've all seen the news lately, and it takes a hell of a lot for them to do anything to cops otherwise.
Yeah, you can do much worse and have to...
Wow.
You don't even have to deal with the law there.
But take their deer sausage, or wait, deer jerky?
No, it was sausage.
Wait, deer sausage?
That's what it said.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, that deserved to be stolen then. I don't even feel bad for them anymore.
Yeah. But the stuff he was actually caught for was like 3 Monster cans and a Subway sandwich.
When did this happen? Do you know?
It was 9 years ago, so 2011, 2012.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I still doesn't make it okay, you know?
No, I mean, if you're hungry, just ask, you know. And it could be one of those office situations where it's a guy that nobody really liked.
Yeah.
And like he knew he couldn't ask you for help because nobody cared about him. Nobody cared about Kevin.
Yeah.
And so he just stole the food.
Well, damn. The connection I've made this week,
Yes.
both of our stories did involve cops.
Yes.
So, okay, there's a connection.
The cop connection.
The cop connection. I hope that doesn't mean that I will be getting a ticket for not renewing my plates yet.
Ooh, that might be a good story, though.
I need to get on there. But oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, like we've said, continue sending us your stuff. We'd love to hear more from our listeners. Or just if you hear of any ridiculous petty crimes that you want us to cover, go ahead and send them to us.
Yeah, or just start a conversation. We're totally here to talk, speak.
I mean, we are podcasters, so we like to talk sometimes.
Yes, that's true.
We won't bite. So yes, please reach out. We'd love to hear from anybody. Well, I hope everybody has a good week.
Yeah.
And no matter how big or small the crime, what are we, Trevin?
We are, in the end, we're all doomed.
Damn, we're all doomed. All right, guys. Well, later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Seriously Sinister.
If you have a true petty crime story to share, please email us at seriouslysinisterpodcast@gmail.com or send us a Facebook message.
If you would like to support our show, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
Also, tell your friends about this podcast.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seriously Sinister Podcast.
And on Twitter at SeriouslySinPod.
Shout out to Trevin for writing all of the original music you hear and for producing our show. Follow him and his music at Fiesta Maiden on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Facebook.
And credit to Emily Stark for designing our podcast artwork. You can follow her on Instagram at emily.r.stark.
All stories are written by myself and Trevin, and all stories are based on actual, true petty crimes.